Long before airplanes, global banks, or shipping containers, an invisible web of trade was already connecting civilizations. It was called the Silk Road, a vast network of overland and maritime routes that linked China to the Mediterranean. Stretching more than 6,000 kilometers, it wasn't just a road, but the world's first global economic system. The story begins in the 2nd century BCE, during China's Han Dynasty. The emperor sought to establish contact with distant lands for both trade and diplomacy. From the imperial capital of Chang'an, caravans loaded with silk, jade, and porcelain began the long journey westward. These goods traveled through Central Asia, Persia, Mesopotamia, and eventually reached Rome, a city fascinated by the luxury and mystery of the East. The Romans traded gold, silver, and glassware in return, making the Silk Road one of the earliest systems of long-distance economic exchange. Silk became more than a commodity. It was a currency of power. Chinese silk was used as diplomatic gifts, war payments, and even religious offerings. Its demand was so strong that it influenced economies from India to the Mediterranean. But silk was only one part of the story. Along the same routes came paper, gunpowder, spices, textiles, and precious stones. More importantly, ideas, technologies, and religions moved alongside merchants. Buddhism spread from India to China, while mathematics and astronomy from the Islamic world reached Europe centuries later. The Silk Road also gave rise to early forms of financial innovation. Merchants developed credit notes and promissory letters to avoid carrying gold across dangerous terrain. Cities like Samarkand, Bukhara, and Kashgar became financial and cultural hubs where bankers, translators, and traders from dozens of regions interacted daily. These urban centers laid the foundation for international commerce centuries before the rise of modern capitalism. The route, however, was never safe. Bandits, deserts, and political instability constantly threatened caravans. Empires rose and fell trying to control it. The Tang Dynasty in China, the Abbasid Caliphate in the Middle East, and later the Mongol Empire all sought to dominate trade. Under the Mongols, led by Genghis Khan and his descendants, the Silk Road reached its peak. Their empire ensured relative safety and unity across Eurasia, allowing goods and ideas to flow faster than ever before. It was during this period that European explorers, including Marco Polo, traveled east and brought back stories that fueled the age of exploration. But the same interconnectedness that brought prosperity also carried risk. Diseases like the Black Death spread along trade routes, devastating populations and economies. As the Mongol Empire fragmented and sea navigation improved, merchants began to favor maritime routes. The discovery of new sea passages around Africa and to the Americas in the 15th and 16th centuries shifted global trade from land to ocean. The Silk Road gradually declined, replaced by European colonial trade networks. Yet the legacy of the Silk Road never disappeared. It transformed global civilization by linking economies, spreading innovation, and fostering cultural exchange. It proved that wealth could be created not just through conquest, but through connection. The same principles still shape the modern world. Global supply chains, trade alliances, and multinational corporations are all descendants of this ancient network. In the 21st century, the Silk Road has returned in a new form. China's Belt and Road Initiative, launched in 2013, echoes its ancient predecessor. Through railways, ports, and digital infrastructure, China aims to recreate a new global trade corridor linking Asia, Europe, and Africa. It's not just about goods, it's about influence, investment, and geopolitical reach. Just like 2,000 years ago, the Silk Road remains a symbol of how commerce defines power. The Silk Road built more than a trade route. It built the foundation for the world's first global economy. It taught empires that connection brings both opportunity and risk, that prosperity depends on cooperation as much as ambition. And in many ways, every trade deal, digital network, and economic alliance today traces its roots back to that ancient path through the deserts and mountains of Eurasia, where East first met West and the global economy was born.